All right, we should be live. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I
Perfect.
can hear you well.
All right, so disclaimer for tonight's episode, where we'll be talking about false flags. Definition being a false flag operation in any committed with the intention of disguising the actual source of responsibility and pinning blame on another party. This can involve staged attacks, fabricated evidence, or orchestrated events designed to mislead. These are not, in our opinions, that we necessarily believe disclosurely, but that's what we're talking about tonight.
This is for entertainment purposes only.
Exactly. So, that being said, lead us off.
Dude, false like I've been trying to renew my subscription to Gaia. I just haven't done it yet. But I got
Mm,
obsessed with a show called False Flags. It's done by a guy named Richard Dolan, and he's written quite a few books, and it's nuts, man. When you go over the history of false flags, and like we'll talk about real quick what it is, like we'll define it on another level. So, a false flag operation, just like you just said, is an act committed with the intent of disguising the actual source, responsibility, and pinning the blame on another party. The term originates from naval warfare, where ships would fly the flag of a neutral or enemy country to conceal their identity and launch surprise attacks. Like pirates
interesting.
come to mind.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Pirates.
In
Interesting.
the show, they use pirate flags whenever they're doing when they talk about this. But
Mm,
so, some key characteristics of false flag operations is deception. The primary goal is to mislead the public and create a false narrative about who is responsible for an event. So, like, the reason why I'm so obsessed or was so obsessed with false flags is because, I mean, when you read about it at all, it's like, oh my god, dude, is our entire world nothing but false flags? Um, I don't know.
Eh, probably
Everything in our freaking history,
entertainment.
like how much of our history, right? I
Mm,
don't know.
what can you
Um,
believe?
Right. Another key characteristic of a false flag is covert nature. They're often carried out in secrecy to avoid detection and maintain plausible deniability. I love that word. Plausible deniability, buddy. So,
That's about right.
manipulation of public opinion. They aim to sway public sentiment, justify actions, or garner support for certain agendas. Want
Mm,
you to think long and hard. Anybody that watches that, think long and hard about that. They aim to sway public sentiment, justify actions, or garner support for certain agendas. How much of this do you think we have experienced in just the last few years alone?
probably more than I can count on my one hand, at least, and that's just in the U.S.
Right, right. So, some common motives for false flag operations is starting a war or conflict. A country might stage an attack on itself and blame it on an enemy to justify military action. Suppressing
Entertainment.
dissent or opposition, governments might use false flag attacks to crack down on political opponents or minority groups. Discrediting or undermining rivals, accusations can be used to damage the reputation of individuals or organizations.
Mm,
Advancing specific political or ideological goals. They can be employed to push certain controversial policies or gain public support for certain agendas. Um, I'd be willing to bet that this is used on a level that we are not ready to accept. You know what I mean? In our country, 100%. Like
I mean, we've talked off
I,
camera about it, and this the one thing that we are pretty certain about is probably the biggest one out there.
mm-hmm. Yes, the biggest one out there, the one I sent you a video about last week. You know, like the new evidence about it. Um,
Mm,
we're talking about 9/11, but
yeah, for entertainment
again,
purposes.
entertainment purposes only here, my friends. So it's just important that you look at the facts of anything, anything that anybody's telling you. Always look at the facts, and that's one of the things. Like when you look at the facts from that day, things don't add up the way they should. And my motivation behind researching all that in the past was because I think people deserve to know the true answers, and I don't think we're getting them.
Oh
Like
no.
there's been all kinds of different doctors, whistleblowers, everybody has gone forward and been like, hey, this is not right. Look at the facts. Look at, engineers talking about how they couldn't have melted the beams. Like jet fuel doesn't burn hot enough, for
Doesn't
example.
burn beams, no. And
And the freaking buildings collapsed at free fall speed, perfect on each other. All three of them, right?
I mean, we're not
But
going to say this is what we believe, but we're just putting it out there, that stuff we've seen, evidence we've come across.
nope,
You come up with
just
your own beliefs, whatever you think, do your own research. But based on what I've seen, there's no way those buildings could have came down when it got hit that high up and just completely imploded like that.
no. Yeah, based solely on the facts of the day, not on opinions, not on anything. Like all we have to go on is what we've been told, and that is where the problem lies. Is that nobody's ever been allowed to ask questions about that kind of stuff. And like even Bush even got on national TV and was like, we're not going to tolerate any ridiculous conspiracy theories. Why do you think he
That's
would
that's a
pull
red
that
flag
out?
right there.
Right.
And then if you talk
We're not
about it,
going to
you're
tolerate.
anti-American, you're a conspiracy theorist. And
Exactly. Like I don't know, man. Just one of those things. Like I don't have enough to really talk about that without any certainty, but I do have some examples of false flags in history. So historical examples of alleged. Of course, they use alleged, even though it's been pretty much confirmed.
entertainment.
Alleged false flag operations. The Reichstag fire of 1933. The Nazis blamed a communist arsonist for the fire that damaged the German parliament building, using it as a pretext to seize power and suppress political opposition. So when they did that, they made it to where basically they became a dictatorship. That's when Hitler took control and they literally became a dictatorship. Um, Basically, if you read the history on it, they literally set fire to that stuff on purpose. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty well confirmed. There's nothing alleged about it. Another one is the Gulf of Tonkin incident in 1964. The U.S. government claimed that North Vietnamese torpedo boats attacked two U.S. Navy destroyers, leading to the escalation of the Vietnam War. However, the veracity of the attack has been disputed. Oh, and look, this one has the September 11th, 2001. Conspiracy theories abound about the U.S. government orchestrated or allowed the attacks to occur to justify the invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan. However, no credible evidence supports these claims, according to
Mm-hmm.
my AI source. Anyway, so and it also says to justify the attack or the invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan. So like this was never to invade Iraq. This was to invade Afghanistan. Iraq didn't come till later, and we invaded Iraq again. This is a false flag. A huge example of a false flag. We claim that they had weapons of mass destruction and invaded them on that, you know, under that context, a pretext, and no evidence of any weapons of mass destruction has ever been found.
Mm-hmm.
Multiple whistleblowers that come through and said no, that they never existed.
Of
So
course.
we went in, killed millions of people under a false claim, and like nobody gets held accountable. That's the craziest thing ever. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
It is crazy. I mean, and just think how many people could be involved in that as it is. I mean, entire governments,
Right.
agencies, organizations. I mean, they even hire people. What do they call those actors that pretend that they kind of show up at every single event? What do they call them?
Crisis actors or whatever.
Crisis actors.
That'll get you in trouble, man. That's what is the name? Alex Jones got sued for claiming all those people were at crisis actors. It's crazy, like that guy getting sued for as much money as he did to me was an example. So they set an example of him. Hey, this is what happens when you speak out. But like, in all honesty, most of the stuff this dude has said has come to pass. It's like it's been legit.
Mm.
So I think that was a setup. One of those things that's trying to get. Hey, we're going to send a message.
Yeah, and plus, we're not claiming anybody is one. We're just saying that it could be part of the whole thing. Like, let's get a bunch
Right,
of
right.
people together, pay them a large sum of money, and have them pretend to be in sort of a horrific, traumatic event.
Mm-hmm. Or shit, bro. Like some of these people, like for example, the guy who shot up the Florida school. Anyway, he did an interview after that. He's like, "Oh my god, this is real," and it made me wonder. Immediately made me think of the MK Ultra program and like, so what if this kind of stuff is being used to this day to, hey, you're gonna go do this, but you're not gonna have any memory of it, kind of a deal. You know what I mean? Um,
Mm.
Again, it's been 100% confirmed they were using mind control techniques on people using freaking high doses
Yeah.
of LSD.
Or even to take it a step further, like, was it Iron Man 2 or 3, where the main villain was just an actor? He didn't know it was actually supposed to be real stuff going on. He thought it was just some sort of publicity stunt. But it was one of the
Oh
Iron
yeah,
Man
you're right.
movies.
That's good stuff right there, man.
The truth hidden in plain sight, right?
Right. Some good. There's some few more examples here I have of different false flags because this stuff is interesting to me. The Gleiwitz incident of 1939 on the eve of World War II, German SS officers disguised as Polish soldiers staged an attack on a radio station in Gleiwitz. Dude, I'm butchering this, I know. Gleiwitz, Poland. They broadcasted anti-German propaganda and left behind the body of a murdered German civilian dressed as a Polish soldier. This was used
Mm.
as a pretext for Germany's invasion of Poland, marking the beginning of World War II in Europe. While the incident's manipulation is widely accepted, some debate remains about the extent of the Nazis' orchestration within Poland. I don't know. I don't know what it means, but
You know what that sounds like to me? The Boston Tea Party.
right.
They dressed up as the other side, and then they dumped the stuff into the water.
Hmm. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I really thought about it like that. Definitely,
Entertainment.
man. I don't know. Entertainment purposes. So another one, Operation Northwoods in 1962, declassified U.S. documents revealed a proposed but never enacted plan by the U.S. military to fabricate attacks on American forces in Cuba. The aim was to blame Cuba and justify a full-scale invasion. The plan never went ahead, but its existence raises questions about potential covert operations and willingness to deceive public opinion for strategic purposes. Again, these are declassified U.S. documents
Mm-hmm.
that revealed a proposed but apparently never enacted plan. Right. So
Right.
why were they planning something on? They were going to attack their own people. See, man, it's when you start to really look at all the different declassified documents over the world, or whenever they come out from the U.S. and all that from around the world too, you start to really see it's like, dude, maybe we are not the good guys of the world. Like that's what it. I know people
We're
will be
not.
like, "Oh, just move then, just move." But I think that people need to be held accountable, and that's the point. That's the point of all of that. It's not about choosing a side. It's not about whether or not I don't like my country because I love living here. I love the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity that we are given here. I love that we can, pretty much be whatever it is that we want to be or do as little as we want. Um, but the fact is, like, our government has been operating unchecked, obviously. Like, I just heard that we were, bombing in somewhere in Yemen, right? At what point did it become okay for the government to act without the public's support? Like, we can just literally go bomb whoever we want. You don't have to declare war anymore. What is since when? You know what I mean? Back in the day, they used to have to get public support. That's why we didn't join World War II until what is it? The sinking of the oh no, the sinking of Lusitania was a different thing, but it was the
Mm-hmm.
Pearl Harbor attack. I'm tripping.
Mm.
That's what projected us into World War II. And did you know that that is also considered a false flag?
Yeah.
A lot of people
I've,
don't know that. A lot of people have no idea that if you watch the Untold History of the United States by Oliver Stone, or is the guy that did the whole movie, dude, it's nuts. According to intelligence leaked documents, they knew the
they were
attack was
coming.
coming.
Yeah.
They 100% they allowed it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
They did it so we can enter World War II, man. You needed to drum up public opinion. We needed to test our nuclear weapons. They
You
had
got to
an
make it personal.
right, and that's exactly what happens. So I wish I would have taken down the definition. So we have the definition on here about like false flags, but in the show, there's like a whole list of what makes a false flag, and one of them is a great emotional event. So like an impactful emotional event, instant media saturation. That's the second one. Like, so those two things. Anytime you have a great emotional event, something that you watch on anything, YouTube, TV, like anything that makes you want to react a certain way, you need to check that at the door and be like, what are they trying to make me believe? What are they trying to manipulate me into believing? Because especially now with AI, you have no idea what is real or what is false
Oh
anymore.
man,
Like,
it's just crazy.
honestly,
You could take a
I can
picture
use
and animate it
right.
to be a video, put AI voice on it, and you swear you're looking at somebody.
Bro, I got a freaking AI tool right now. I can make things in Arnold Schwarzenegger's voice. This shit is
Mm-hmm.
hilarious. Wonder if I don't know if you'd be able to hear it. I wonder if you probably could hear it. This is freaking awesome, man. It makes me laugh.
Let's try it.
What do you want? What do you want to say? Here we go. Where's my Arnold Schwarzenegger? Where'd he go?
It might come through your headphones, but it would try it.
Oh, it would come through my headphones. Good lord. All right, it's not gonna work. It's gonna annoy me.
Get to the chopper. I don't do a very good impression.
Yeah. It's
But
coming
yeah,
through my damn headphones.
it's just how far they've come with AI. And even like in video
Yeah,
games,
the
basically
like on
you're
this
talking to something
one,
that's self-aware. It's crazy.
like, dude, didn't they put that? So I bet you they're gonna be putting like real AI into the new GTA game, dude.
They've been
Like,
talking about it,
yeah, I guarantee you they're
and
gonna
they
put
have the
real AI, and
technology.
that's gonna be its own like literal universe. Like, so we, it's a mind f. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
we're literally creating, and would it become self aware? You're gonna have self aware GTA characters. Like, what are
and
we
they're
doing?
shooting at you and stuff. Every character in the game is gonna be self-aware.
Bro, when that game comes
Yeah.
out, I'm gonna be playing the shit crap
Oh
out of it.
shoot! Hell yeah! I mean, they're already talking about putting it into Dragon Age and stuff, like Skyrim, making those NPCs put AI into it. They're actually talking about doing that. Like, imagine taking The Sims, and that's already pretty much AI as it is, and actually putting real AI into the Sims games. You're creating a
Yeah,
universe.
there was Billy Carson was talking about how they were planning on putting that into the game No Man's Sky,
Oh yeah.
the one on PlayStation or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's nuts. So like, yeah, he's talking about how it's essentially you put AI into there, and then
In
eventually,
the video
the
games,
AI in the game is going to start asking questions, and it's going to be like, oh, I live in a game. Like, what if? How do we know that that's not what's going on here? Is the whole point of that? But
simulation theory. How many levels does it go?
right. For
And
those
then
that
imagine,
don't know about the simulation theory, it's the idea proposed that we live inside of a computer simulate. So excited to
and
see
there's
both.
plenty of supporting evidence. They've actually found code in DNA on an atomic level.
Right. It's one
Never
of
not
those
seen this.
ones I've stayed away from because like it's kind of a mind f. But again, if you
It
read into
fascinates
the
me.
Gnostic text and the law of one suggests that we live in an energy hologram basically. There's actually CIA documents that suggest that we live in a hologram too.
I mean, even the Buddha
What does that
says
even
it's a
mean though?
dream.
Right. The law of
Perception's
one says
reality.
that's a dream. That we are literally the dream of God. Like that's what this is. Like the in the beginning was the word,
Yeah.
that it's a dream, a thought. Um I don't know, man. That trips me out. But actually that is honestly ultimately what I believe is that we're the dream of the faith, the dream of the God. You know what I mean? Whatever you want to call it. That was a Final
What?
Fantasy X reference. Dream of the Faith. You ever play that game?
Oh yeah. Final Fantasy
How at
X
the
for
end he
PS2.
realized he was a dream. Dude, that's my
Mm-hmm.
game, man. My God, I was obsessed with that game.
I gotta try 16 now still.
I maxed, dude, man. I'm going off tangent here, but I maxed out everything on that game.
This is an amazing game. I'm trying to think of a word for it, but did you see the trailer for the Nephilim? That movie?
No, I didn't see the trailer for the Nephilim.
It's a trailer, but it's completely made using AI, and it looks just like CGI.
Ooh, I'll have to mess with that, man.
But it's not supposed to be an actual movie coming out. It's a trailer
Oh,
showing what it could be. But the entire trailer is made using AI, and it looks amazing. Might actually be well, it might get
what?
copyright, but yeah, hang on.
What?
We'll bring it up in a way.
What?
Let's
So in the
see.
meantime, there's another example of a false flag is the Operation Ajax in 1953. In a covert operation, the British M16 and the CIA orchestrated the overthrow of a democratically elected Prime Minister of Iran, Mohammed Mossadegh. God, I'm butchering these, I know. They supported the installation of Mohammad Reza Pahlavi as Shah, ultimately impacting the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East for decades. While the operation's details remain contested, its involvement in the foreign regime change exemplifies the covert tactics sometimes employed in international affairs. Like you always hear, dude. Have you like how many times you hear about the CIA being involved in like regime change and stuff like that? Like why?
It makes you wonder, like, what all of these organizations do on that level: FBI, CIA, entertainment, and it's how far does that level? How many levels does it go up? Crazy to think about. Here we go. Let's see. Okay. Ready for this trailer? I
Hmm?
thought you'd seen it. But keep in mind, this trailer is completely made with AI. Can you see it? Not CGI. It's AI. Actually, it's that was actually a really good
Bro, I was straight watching this.
trailer. See, you're looking at the AI trailer. They actually use AI to have the actors move. It's not real. It's just showing what AI can do.
Hmm?
Crazy, right?
That's wild, man. Like
Yep.
I mentioned it before, like Nephilim in the like we think of them as the giants or whatever of old, but like what it really means is the to those who from heaven to earth came. That's what Nephilim actually means in the old text. The old that's Hebrew, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're dealing with a complex story again. But false flags, sir, all day.
I mean, it
The
could
whole
be
fucking
metaphoric.
history of humanity is a false flag.
Like giant can represent power. Maybe they're meant that they're powerful beings, not necessarily physically big, but on a level of
Nah,
power and
bro.
authority.
If you look at the pictures of like Gilgamesh and how he's holding a lion in each arms, bro. Like these beings, they're like 15 feet tall. Like I
Mm.
do believe that they were big, like, but as far as them being like 150 feet tall, that's ridiculous. But
There'd probably be a lot more evidence of their existence if that was the case. You couldn't hide their skeletons.
exactly.
There'd be footprints
Hmm.
everywhere.
And think we're also dealing with something we're not ready to accept as a society. You know what I mean? That's part of the reason. I think that's part of the reason why they keep this stuff a secret. I was actually watching something earlier that suggested that people are not ready to know. Like actually, it was Tucker Carlson. Like he was talking, which is weird to me that this has become so mainstream. He was saying that part of the reason that they keep it secret is because humans are not ready to know. The humankind, like people go insane. Think about if
But I'm ready. I want to see it.
right. Think about if you confirm that aliens existed, they landed here. What would that do to anybody who believes in religion, right? That would
Mm-hmm.
your mind would blow up and you'd be like, "Oh my god, everything I believe in is possibly a lie," right?
There seemed
But
to be a
again, like
paradigm
I always
shift.
tell them, always tell my mom, like, just because it says, this is mankind's creation story, it doesn't say that it's all God created. It just says this is our creation. You know what I mean? But
It's a story just about us, not external.
yeah, dude, the freaking, I don't know, man. We should probably do another one like the Book of Enoch, because that has gotten it's gotten more views than any of my other lives. That's for damn sure. But,
Hey, let's do it.
I want to like, we could probably talk about that. I just need to be way more prepared than I was, because like, man, like not having, I laid everything on having that damn binder, and I did not have it, and that sucks.
Did you ever find it?
Still can't find it. No, I still can't find it. But it's like I said, I've like highlighted all the stuff from the prophecies before, because I have a book that Billy Carson, he references that shit, which I haven't even started reading that one yet, but I'm getting there. But the Epic of Humanity, he's talking about the Nephilim, the Anunnaki, and stuff like that. I know that's what he's going to talk about, like, because he's pretty much read all the Zechariah Sitchin's book and all that stuff. But
we could do more on the
wrapping up.
Book of Enoch. Yeah.
We can talk about all the different removed texts. There's a little bit more about the Reichstag fire here, man. Yeah. So for those that want to hear more about the Reichstag fire, which is one of the false flags in history from the Germans, the fire broke out shortly after 9 p.m. on February 27th. A Dutch communist was apprehended at the scene and later convicted of arson. However, the extent of his involvement and whether he acted alone or as part of a bigger conspiracy remained controversial. Nazi accusations, the Nazi government led by Hitler and propaganda minister. Dude, they literally had a minister of propaganda. Isn't that wild?
That's crazy.
Like, show you how important propaganda is to governments. The Germans were masters of it.
Sure. Or maybe they've been outranked by another organization.
Right. Impact on democracy. The Reichstag fire decree effectively dismantled the Weimar Republic and paved the way for a Nazi dictatorship. It allowed the Nazis to arrest and imprison thousands of their political opponents, silence dissent, and consolidate their control over the German state. So I want you to think about what's going on in our country right now, as far as like using government officials or government agencies to arrest people that you don't like. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
People that have consistently gotten off and there's no evidence to convict them, right? But we're using government agencies to silence our political opponents. It sounds a little Nazi-ish, huh? Nazi-ish.
Well, even during Pearl Harbor, they went around and started arresting all of the native Japanese that were living here in this country. They didn't know if they were involved or not. They were putting them in.
Bro. That is the worst. Our country is there's plenty of examples of crap, and that is one of them. That's one that pisses me off. Just like people will justify the dropping of the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and like it's just wrong. There is no justification in this world to drop nuclear weapons on anybody. And that's one of the other things in the untold history of the United States that Oliver Stone talks about. He says that the Japanese government was already going to surrender before we dropped those bombs, and we did that as a show of power, a show of like, hey, what we can do. And whether or not that's true or not,
do too. I believe it. They wanted to see what they could do too.
And that's just wrong. People are like, oh, we needed it to do. No, we didn't, dude. Like, that's the thing. Countries fight each other since the beginning of time. Humans have been used as cannon fodder because our leaders want to fight each other. And that shit doesn't make any fucking sense. It never has made any sense. Right, exactly. It's just something we accept. Oh, war is necessary. It's not. They make us believe that.
It's literally chess. You send the pawns out first.
Quite literally. And we're used as freaking cannon fodder. You know, when the rich wage war, it's the poor who die. That sucks. But anyway.
Good show. Entertainment.
It's about this on entertainment purposes, folks. Don't burn me on my 9/11 comments. I don't necessarily believe anything.
We're just putting content out there for entertainment purposes. We're not going to agree or disagree that it actually happened in one way or the other.
All right, my friends. Oh, look at this. That flew
What
by.
is it? Oh, yeah, it did. All right, so next week, Book of Enoch.
Maybe not the whole title, but like we can maybe like lost. What is it? Apocrypha. I'll look at the word apocrypha book.
Okay, yeah, that works.
That would be helpful. Different prophecies, different fucking things where I'm thinking they're talking about the movements of the planets and stars, but anyway.
Sounds good to me. All right, so you heard it. Tune in next week. We're going to dive into that stuff.
Hang out. Much love, my friends. Have a good one.
All right, see you, man.
I'm going to go get some sleep.
Make sure
Back to work, damn it.
All right. So, wrapping up tonight's show. Don't forget, if you haven't already, show your support from Mr. Me and Mr. JP333. His YouTube channel is Reflections. And go ahead and hit the like button, comment to help push these videos out. Let us know in the comments what you think and give us some ideas of some more stuff we can talk about. Thank you, Selena, for watching tonight and being in the comments here in the chat. And I'm going to sign off myself. We'll catch you next week. Have a good night.